India Development Coalition of America. My name is Porus Dadabhoy, and the way you remember me is Porus is like a sponge, and Dadabhoy is like Attaboy Dadaboy.
Dadabhoy.
I had an American friend who went to Afghanistan, and when he went to Afghanistan, he saw this male person walking and women walking about 10 feet behind him. 10 years later, he said, well, America needs to go there, we'll help Afghanistan. 10 years later, he went back and he found the same thing, the man walking in front and the 3 women walking behind him 10 feet away. So he says, we've been there for 10 years but Afghanistan hasn't changed. But this time, instead of asking the man, he went and asked the women. And the women said, oh, we're delighted he's 10 feet ahead of us, because there are a lot of mines in this country. I'm glad you're all laughing. My topic is to welcome you, and I want to welcome you with the words of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, be the change. And I was in Milwaukee, and I saw Mahatma Gandhi looking out in a statue towards the city of Milwaukee. And it was awesome. What is the vision of IDCA? The vision is simple. It's a developed India, free of poverty, ignorance, diseases, socio-economic disparities, ecological disasters, and social harmony. How do we do this? We do this by monthly forums and conferences. We do this by regional conferences, East, West, and South. This is the first Southern Conference in Houston. We've done the East and West. And we do international conferences once a year in Delhi and Chicago. And besides our conferences, forums, we help our NGOs and NPOs do actual projects on the ground. To put us simply, we are in the wealth creation business in India. And W stands for water. 50% of all ailments in India are water-based. So we have a large core group that does water projects. And we do water projects anywhere from eliminating elephantitis, to creating sanitation, to reverse osmosis, to create water, rainwater harvesting, etc. We have a 5-person group, very large, very strong, and we go all over the country. We do energy projects, education and economics, which is E. We do energy projects, could involve solar, wind power, alternative energy, but everything we do must be economically feasible. It must not only be economically feasible, it must be sustainable. Then we look at agriculture, and we had a Professor Joshi who came from the Himalayan Institute. We sent him to the University of Wisconsin, and we sent him to the University of Illinois to study agriculture, cheese making, etc. The next item is livelihoods of jobs, what we call in America to keep our people employed. And the next one is teaching and training. And teaching and training can be from literacy, which Pratham does. It can be technical training, like I visit a couple of trade schools. And it can be engineering training, like Engineers Without Borders between the United States and India. The last is healthcare. And we have a core group of doctors, and we do healthcare projects. And it can be anywhere from nursing, and we have a gentleman here who I was very happy to meet yesterday evening for dinner, and he was explaining to me all the healthcare projects he does in Gujarat, and he is one of your own. We have taken on a new subject last year, and Jay Sagal brought it up about a year ago, and he called it good governance. And it has become one of our new items, and the reason it is important is 1 in 3 Indians is affected by corruption. I personally, in the month of January, as my commitment, sent out probably 100 emails to several cities, and as a result, and of the people of India and their good efforts, we had demonstrations in 40 cities, and there was an attendance of over 100 in Goa and 5,000 in Delhi. I joined Anna Hazare on a fast. I've never fasted in my life, and I could only fast for 2 days. I have a confession to make. And I will join Baba Ramdev on his fast. We work with the universities. We're a Chicago-based organization, and we hope you in Houston can work with your universities and develop programs. To give you an example, we work with the University of Illinois, and our associates created a nursing school in India, which will now graduate 40 nurses every year with a BS program. We work with the University of Illinois, Dr. Vishwanathan, and he's creating a marketing program for women for self-empowerment. We work with DePaul University, which does social service. DePaul University sent 4 students to our last international conference in Chicago. Next year, they're going to bring their whole class, 30 students, all American, all from DePaul, will attend our sessions. University of Iowa has a leadership program. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Indiana State, we went to Indiana State and had an annual conference, and it's a adjoining state. With Northwestern, we have linked up, and with Ann Feldman, she has made a movie on water pressures, and she goes through an example of how Indians in Rajasthan live on 4 liters of water a day, whereas in the United States, we use 400 gallons a day. So this is our core, this is how we have worked with the universities. Let me give you an example of the University of Iowa. What is coming in the future with our relationship with them? University of Iowa has agreed to hold an education summit. They will provide $75,000 US in in-kind support. We are inviting 30 school principals, school administrators to come to the University of Iowa. They will be taken on field trips to the top schools in the country. They will do research and technological laboratories. They will get assistance in rehab methods. They will look at the current findings in education and educational research. They will be networking, innovating teaching and principles. The University of Iowa, I'm happy to tell you, has the #1 SAT and ACT scores in the nation. And so we think that's a good example for people from India to come and learn how to make our students better. Last month, the Indian Embassy called us up and talked to me and sent me an email about a young girl called Durti Vyas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Durti Vyas is a young girl about 22 years old, and she is going to India on June 18th to August 27th. She's going to work on community health and micronutrient deficiencies, which is essentially undernourished children. She's going to work with GBSS, which is the sponsoring NGO in India. It's located in Jodhpur, Rajasthan, India. And the reason she's going there, she put in her application, because it has a lack of resources and it has immense destitution. Healthcare will be her primary goal. We are proud and happy to announce that Durti Vyas will be our first young person intern scholar for the year 2011. What are the goals of this young person who's going to India? Sustainable development training, create a community health program, need assessment, education and awareness, and she's going to blog her experiences on a weekly or a daily basis to the University of Chicago. So we do have, I think Sam asked me and he said, what about the young people? And I wanted to bring this example up. How did we select her? We selected her because she was a pre-med student. She's also a political science student. That's her major at the University of Chicago. She has an outstanding background. She has been a director of outreach. She has been a director of electronic chess in the city, and she has done electronic chess teaching both in Ahmedabad and in the US, all through a computer at school. She has participated in the neighborhood school program in her vicinity. She has gone to India on 2 occasions, Samvedna School and Seva Bank Microfinance of Women. Besides her social service, at the University of Iowa, in high school, she worked at the Cornell Embryology Laboratory, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, and the University of Chicago.